after the NFL draft and Monday after LeBron is the most amazing player in the world. And again in a Game 7, we'll talk about the narratives that are and are not true. That's coming up.
Thanks, Colin. Time for our final topic of the day. The Celtics eliminated the Bucks in 7 games, and now they'll face the red-hot Sixers. Boston won 3 of 4 against Philly during the regular season. Shannon, who wins Game 1 tonight?
I'm going to say the Sixers. They have no answer for him. Al Horford wants no part. Baines wants no part of Joel Embiid, Skip. They have no answer for him. And it would have been interesting to see how they were going to match up with Ben Simmons. Now, Jaylen Brown has that hamstring. He's probably going to miss tonight. So it would be very interesting to see, is it Jason Tatum or is it Marcus Smart? Because I think Marcus Smart is a little bit too small, Skip. 6'11" to 6'5", that's not a good matchup down on the block.
If Jaylen Brown could play tonight, I would go Boston at home just for this game, but he's doubtful, so I'm going to doubt that he'll play. So I'm going to go Sixers close tonight. I'm going to go Sixers in 6 in this series. I'm going to go Sixers over LeBron in the East Finals. I'm sticking with it.
Nobody asked you about LeBron, Skip. This is about the
Sixers. To get that out there.
Why you can't stick the topic?
I stuck to it. I was just projecting.
See, you know what? He's that type of student. You know, they ask you to read a book. And it's like, oh, I already read that one, Miss Thompson. They asked you to read the book.
I just got extra credit.
No, we don't want you to get no extra credit. We was talking about Sixers and Celtics, and you had to throw in LeBron.
No, I'm right about that.
No, I don't know nothing.
Yes, you do.
First of all, I got the Sixers tonight. Also, Joy, it's going to be a very hard-fought series, and LeBron is getting rest right now, and he asked me not to speak about him today.
Oh, okay.
Really?
That's
yeah.
it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. Right now, Colin Cowherd tells you why LeBron destroyed another misconception about him. The Herd starts now.
Bron, we out.
This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. We are absolutely packed today. This is one of my favorite days of the year. Day after the draft weekend, NFL draft weekend, we're getting ready for the beginning of round 2 of the NBA playoffs in the East. You know what's funny about stories? You got to do your own homework. Because sometimes a story's out there, a narrative out there, and then you do your homework and you're like, well, that's not true. You ever hear that? That guy's no good. That guy's a bad guy. That guy's a bad guy. You hear it for years, then you meet the guy and you're like, I like the guy. I don't know. Where did that narrative come from? The narrative, there's always been 2 narratives with LeBron James in his career. Number 1 is he's talented, but he's not clutch. And the other one is, well, he's great, but he's not MJ. I'm not going to worry about that one. Let's, though, remove the first one forever, can we? Let's get rid of that one, because now it's just not true, and now we all sound like dopes when we say it, right? That part he is. He's clutch. In fact, in Game 7s, his last 5, he's not only 5-0, but his numbers elevate. He averages 34 points a game and shoots 39% from threes, and he averages almost 11 rebounds. Okay, he elevates. But there's always been that narrative, right? He's not clutch. I'll tell you somebody who's not clutch, but you, when I say his name, the first thing you think is, man, I'd want that guy shooting a jumper with no time left. Kobe Bryant, baby. Kobe is clutch. No, Kobe's not clutch. Kobe had the worst Game 7 by a superstar I've ever seen, and I've been doing this a long time. Remember against Boston, 6 for 24, 4 turnovers? It was Meta World Peace that saved the championship for the Lakers against Boston. Kobe was absolutely dreadful. In fact, when you go back and you look at Kobe's last 5 Game 7s, he's a B player. He averages 21 a game and shoots 37%. His averages come down significantly, 15, 20%. Kobe is not clutch. LeBron is historically clutch. I don't need to compare him to MJ, but let's not just let this thing keep floating out there. It's just not true. LeBron's 34 points, 10.5 rebounds, 40% on threes, a 50% shooter, and 5-0. He's really good late. I always hear this about Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers is talented, but everybody's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is clutch. He's only got 11 come from behind wins in the last 6 years. Jay Cutler has more. Joe Flacco has more. Tony Romo has more, and Tony Romo didn't play the last 2 years. Andrew Luck is clutch. Well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a defense. It's better than Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck, who didn't play last year, in the last 6 years has 17 come from behind wins. Aaron Rodgers has 11. Aaron Rodgers, my friends, is a lot of things. He is not clutch. The reality, we have created a narrative that is no longer true. Guys will say at a bar over a few beers, LeBron's not clutch. Do your homework. Do your own intel. Do your own due diligence. What you saw yesterday was not an aberration. It is what LeBron is in Game 7s. Absolutely, historically amazing. And he did it again. All right, it was the NFL draft. If you did not know, last Thursday I was invited to the LA Chargers draft room. I've never done that. Hope to do it again with some franchise. It was remarkable. And now, over the course of the weekend, you know what everybody does, who had the best class and who had the worst class, and that team got a B-, and that team got a C+, and that team. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you a story about my late mother, who at one point in her life was a nurse, came over from England in her early teens by herself on a boat, came over, eventually got a job as a nurse. And my mom said something very early in my life that I never forget. She said, if you have your health, you have everything. Everything else is fine. But she, as a nurse for 2 years, saw people who grow up in chronic pain. And she said, honey, if you grow up and at any point in your life, you are in pain from the minute you wake to the minute you go to sleep, she goes, it will suffocate everything else in your life. And I tell that story because everybody's grading the draft classes. And you want to know who won the draft? The teams that got franchise quarterbacks. Arizona got a kid as good as Josh Rosen at number 10. The New York Jets got the best quarterback, in my opinion, at number 3. They won the draft. Let me tell you the value of a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo is worth 5 points. Over the course of a season, 16 games, that would be 80 points. Over the course of a 12-year career, could play longer, that's 960 points. J.J. Watt, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, Gronk aren't worth a single point in any game. Jimmy Garoppolo is worth 5 a game. The 49ers were 1-10. Then he showed up. They were 5-0. They averaged 17 a game without him and 29 with him. And I know what you're saying. Colin, you said he was worth 5 points. It appears he's worth 12. No, 12 is what a great franchise quarterback is worth when he connects with a great offensive coordinator. Jared Goff was a disaster. He's a Pro Bowl level quarterback with Sean McVay. Jimmy Garoppolo with Kyle Shanahan is worth somewhere between 10 and 12 points a game. If you want to know who won the draft, who got a quarterback, you could take every linebacker in the history of this draft from USC, Ohio State, and Alabama combined. They're not worth 50 points over their careers. Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold will change the franchise. 200 people in those organizations that would have been fired will now retain employment. They'll sell tens of millions of dollars in merchandise, game day revenue, not to mention free agent wide receivers and offensive linemen. Players will choose the Jets in Arizona and Buffalo if Josh Allen can play, and Baltimore if Lamar Jackson's as great as everybody tells me. Now, once you get the quarterback right, nothing else matters. It's like my mom said, if you've got your health, you'll figure out the rest in life. No matter how much you inherit, no matter how handsome, no matter how smart, if you wake up in chronic pain, it suffocates all your other gifts. I don't know who won the draft. I mean, there were certain players that I really, really like. I think the Colts really helped their offensive line. I think the Packers did a great job and really helped their secondary. I think the Chargers' defense was good. It's going to be even better. But I look at the Jets today, and they were the butt of jokes Wednesday. I look at Arizona. I was rolling my eyes Wednesday. But I look at those teams today, and my grade is A for awesome. H for headache. No more headaches. Everybody wants to grade this stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how great Jacksonville's defense is. Last year, there were a lot of really good defenses that didn't do anything. New England's defense and Philadelphia's in the Super Bowl, neither could stop a nosebleed. But they had quarterbacks who were spinning it. So that's my draft for the grade. Jets in Arizona not only got stability in franchise quarterbacks, they got them at incredible value. The Jets got the best quarterback, not at the number 1 pick, not at the number 2 pick, the number 3 pick. And to get somebody as gifted as Josh Rosen at 10, that's a franchise changer at number 10. And they entered the draft with what appeared, due to their limitation of draft picks, to have no shot at changing the course of their franchise. And that's exactly what they did. All right, coming up next, I saw something this weekend, and I processed it over the last day. I thought about it a lot. And I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite as short-sighted as what I saw this weekend from a really great player. That's coming up next. The NBA and NHL playoffs, they are heating up, and the baseball season is now over a month in. SeatGeek is the smartest way to get tickets to those games. If you're searching for a last-minute deal, or you're even doing it as a birthday present, SeatGeek gets you closer to the action for the best value. They do the work. They search the ticket sites, they compare the prices, and they find the deal for you. They also have concert, theater, comedy, beyond sports tickets. 2 taps, download the SeatGeek app. It's what I do. My listeners get $20 off their first SeatGeek purchase. You download the SeatGeek app, takes a couple of taps, enter the promo code HERD. That's the promo code HERD, $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. They search the site, they compare the prices, you get the amazing deals at SeatGeek.